मेस्तु अनिराकरणं मेस्तु तदात्मनिरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्मास्ते मयि सन्तु ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. May all my limbs attain strength. May my body, mind, all sensory and motor organs become strong. All is verily the one without second, absolute, blissful existence itself. Let me never deny this truth of oneness. May this truth never reject me either. May all virtues necessary to experience this absolute existence be with me. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Let us feel in our heart the blissful presence of Divine, who is our true self. Let us feel its divine loving presence in our heart as a fragrant flower. This beautiful fragrant flower I am feeling its fragrance spreading all over my being. In fact, I have become that fragrance. All other desires and all negativities in life have disappeared completely. the infinite, divine, blissful presence has totally absorbed me. I am absorbed in that presence. Om, peace, peace, peace. Oh, I had put it on. This is on here. Nobody is hearing. Where is the problem? Huh? Volume is low. That I cannot change. Now it was there, the problem was there, and not here. Again and again this is coming, authentication failure. What is happening? Last time also it came. It wants a password. I don't know. So save the password there, please. So today is the third class on this, and we shall begin with our regular prayers. So please join in reciting them. Janmadhyasya yatonvayaditarat Shartheshvabhijñaswarat Tene brahmhridaya adikavaye Muhyanti yat surayah Tejo varimridam yatha vinimayo Yatra trisargo mrisha Dhamna svena sada nirastakuhakam Satyam param dhimahi. Please read loudly. So, the whole Bhagavatam is meditation on this supreme truth. It is the truth that we want to realize in life, and that is God. Truth is synonymous with God. And so, if people say God exists or not, well, the question could be rephrased as, does truth exist or not? So, it is God is truth. Truth is God. So that supreme truth that we meditate upon, the word supreme is to be understood with some meditation on it. The relative truths, they are true only in a given context. They are not the supreme truth. Like here, if you say which is east and which is west, you can point that is the east, that is the west. But that is in this context. It is if you go in this space, outer space beyond earth, then there is no question of east and west. It is, how would you know? It is, there is no such idea there. So it is only in relation to earth and sun we have these ideas, east and west. So these are the relative truths. So the relative truths are like that. Like I told the story, the doctor's office had called to verify that whether I am the right person. So asked me that tell the date of your birth, please. I told the date. This is the date. Year, and I said every year. So that was not really taken as the right answer, although it is right. Every year it is the same date of birth. No, what I mean is exactly the year in which you were born. So it is, I said, well, I am joking, so it is the, because in that context, the truth is that I have to tell the month and the day and the year also. So, therefore it is, you can see that the truths in the relative sense has one value. But then the absolute truth, which is expressing in various contexts as the relative truth, that is not visible clearly. For example, the electricity is not visible, but these lights are visible. We are able to also hear the sound. We also have this heating system going on. All these are running on electricity. Electricity is functioning through all these different appliances. So the electricity is like absolute here. And then this expression through all these different appliances is its expression in the context. So the truth gets expressed somewhere as light, somewhere as say colors, somewhere as sound, somewhere as in some other ways. So that is the relative truth and absolute truth. We have to understand that how the relationship is there in them. So we will get to discuss this at some other point in this study or reading of Srimad Bhagavatam. So last time we were seeing a story. We had to leave that story kind of unfinished. There was this lady that Narada found, the sage Narada, while moving all around on this earth and witnessing that because of this time, because of the changed times, the earth is now overtaken by all the evils of life. The virtue has taken backseat. People are just money minded or are just looking for sense pleasures. They do not care about the goal of life, and thus there is misery everywhere because of that. There is violence, there is misery, there is greed, there is lust, there are so many passions, all like it is they no peace anywhere. He was feeling sad and then saw on the bank of a river in Vrindavan, Yamuna. So a lady looking young as such, and there were two other old people on the bank of the river Yamuna. The two old people, they appeared to be practically dead. They were unconscious. And this lady was also in grief. She was sad. And when she saw Narada, she was very happy that, well, now somebody has come who is a saintly person, and I can relate my suffering to him, and he will surely find a solution. So she told that in this age, you see, these two are my sons, and my name is Bhakti, the devotion. Bhakti means devotion to Lord. And in this age, nobody cares for me, and so I have become emaciated. But after coming to Vrindavan, I am feeling a little better. But these old, they are my sons. Your sons should have been younger, mother should have been older. Well, but that is how their condition has become. They have become so infirm, weak and aged. They are. One is knowledge, other is dispassion. Jnana and Vairagya, knowledge and dispassion. And these two sons have become so weak, and so they are alive, but I don't know what to do with how to revive them. And then Narada told, well, this age has these problems. And Bhakti asked, why did the king Parikshiti just kill this Kali Yuga, this age of Kali, where all these evils, they become more pronounced. He should have killed this age of Kali. In the Indian this understanding, everything is alive. Even the ages, they are alive. There is nothing inanimate as such. So this age also has is also a living entity, and so could be killed. That which is alive could be killed. So and Narada replied, a very important reply where we last time stopped because time was over, that it is. And he said this Kali Yuga has many problems, no doubt, all these difficulties. But the king Parikshiti allowed it to survive because it has one great merit. that in earlier age people had to practice lot of austerities and do lot of meditation and many difficult things to uh, get God realization. But in this age, Lord has given a big concession in this age. And what is it? The name of the God is enough. Chanting the name of God, listening to the stories of God, that is enough in this age to purify oneself. And therefore, seeing this special merit of this age, being said, okay, you survive. So, in this age, he said, taking the name of the Lord, singing the glories, enough for God realization. So, isn't it great? Earlier people used to stand on one leg and perform many difficult austerities, go to forest and don't take food for 1,000 years and so forth. So all that was possible in those other ages. It is, but now it is first of all very difficult, and this age it is not even necessary. The good point is it is not necessary. This age being full of all other problems, God has given this age some handicap advantage, that in this age one can get liberated, one can get the blessed experience of God just by chanting, listening to the name of God. And then Bhakti said to the sage Narada, Bhakti became very glad to when the seer Narada said, but then she said, that is all right, but my infirm son's knowledge and dispassion are still unconscious. Please do something, because unless our true knowledge becomes strong and in life there is dispassion, there won't be any bhakti. That is being very beautifully suggested here, that we all want devotion in life, but devotion can come if we have this knowledge about what is what is real, what is not real, and the purpose of life. If we know that, then that knowledge is a child of bhakti. And there is other child, dispassion, that according to the knowledge then you develop dispassion for that which is unreal. So that is how now you develop devotion in life. Without these two being strong, there won't be, even if there is a little devotion in life, it won't progress much. So therefore, this bhakti says, well, these two sons of mine, they still are very infirm, sickly, unconscious. Narada tried to shake them up, said the name of God in them, and then they kind of became a little bit conscious. But he tried. Narada was trying to wake them up. And then he did lot of efforts. And they became kind of, they woke up, but not really very clearly woken up, still they were yawning. The description is very interesting in the book. They were still, ah, like when you wake up, when you really thought that you can still sleep for about half an hour more or 25 minutes, or our Vittal says 5 minutes more, and then if he is woken up, so all sorts of those, and not very clear, and so you do then and not, you don't properly, still are not well oriented. So it becomes very difficult that it is, I wanted to go somewhere in the early morning, and somebody said, okay, I will give you a ride there, no problem. So, and it was very early in the morning, so that person was, somehow woke oneself up, but still not very oriented. So the car was going in the wrong direction. I said, where are you going? No, is it? I don't know. It is. So then, that is what happens when you are not properly awake. One gentleman, I am not talking about Charlie, who used to do the accounts and all that. So had they somehow got up and then was early morning, did meditation, and then thought that I have to mail out that check, and then I have to put this bag of trash. So what the fellow did was, put the check in the trash and the trash bag in the mailbox, you see. So it is. So when you are not really awake, then all such things happen. So this knowledge and dispassion, they were not really energetic, and they after a few minutes fell. They were so sleepy, so tired. There is the story that I have told earlier also, that when a child, is made to study, hey, you have to study. And as soon as the book would be kept there on the desk, the child would just drop, the head would drop, sleeping, like it happens in my lectures, it is people, so only blah 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 is heard then. So it is that child was sitting there on the desk and was falling. And those days, the children, when they would start their studies, they would have their head shaven. Only a little tuft of hair would be left, all other heads shaven. So that tuft was there. So the dad saw the son is just falling down like that, sleeping. And then he said, now let me see how you can sleep. He tied that tuft of hair. And then tied that to this ceiling like that. Tight. Now sit tight. Let me see now how you can sleep. And then he went to his work. After about half an hour or so, he came back and saw the head of the child was just on the book again. And the tuft of hair was dangling with the rope, you see. So it is. So does it happen to you, Vittal? No. Okay. So it is. It is, since my head was never tied like that, it didn't happen to me to that extent, but I am sure had it been tied by my dad like that, it would have happened to me too. So it is. So these are so sleepy that forcibly waking them up was not working at all. So at that time Narada heard a voice from heavens. Oh, there is the way to make them strong. Come, would come alive and become strong, but you have to do a particular ritual. You have to do something, and then that you have to perform that act. And then it stopped. What act is to be performed? Narada didn't know. So he left Bhakti and her two sons there and started going to different saints at different places, asking what should be done to revive them, what act was in the mind of the heavens. Can you narrate? Can you tell? And nobody told. In fact, many of them said that's a gone case. Even the mother Bhakti is right there. Moreover, there have been the recitals of the name of God. Still they are not waking up. So that means it is all a hopeless case. You know the story of a hopeless case. It is there was one orthopedician's office was getting shifted from one place to another place nearby, So everything was getting transferred to the new place, and then they usually have a skeleton, a human skeleton standing there in a glass case. And so that was also loaded on the push cart, and somebody was taking it. One lady walked to that fellow. Where are you taking this? And he said, to the doctor's office. Well, you may take, but I think it is rather too late. So it is a hopeless case now. It is, you can't revive that fellow. So they said this. So those sages said, kind of hopeless case. But then Narada went on, knowing that heavenly voice can't be totally false, and then went to Badrikashrama, and where he saw those 4 sages sitting in deep meditation. These 4 sages are mentioned in the Indian mythology, that they are the firstborn sons of Brahma. So one of them is Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanandan and Sanat Kumar. These 4 sages were meditating there, and as Narada approached them, they said, well, do recite Bhagavatam for 1 week. There is therefore even now you have what is called Bhagavat Saptaha. Saptaha means a week. A week of reciting, reading, meditating on Bhagavatam. So thousands of people assemble, some authority recites this stories from Bhagavatam, and people keep fast. They follow certain special rules of diet, getting up, and other things. They don't do any other thing during that week. Totally focused on this. So literally thousands of people, they come to that place for that week, because hearing Bhagavatam like this continuously, there are they all these descriptions, how much is to be covered this hour, next hour, next hour. So usually it is 6 hours per day. So 6 into say 7, about 42 hours it works, 40 hours it works. In between there is time for a break time. I have attended once or twice such these things, but I didn't stay for all the time or all the days, just went for a little while. But there are people listening, chanting the name of God, and the speakers are very well versed in this whole story. So Narada was at that time, Narada was told, well, you have 1 week of such Bhagavatam, and then Narada's, that is the act that has been told to you from this heavenly voice that you heard. This is what you must do. Narada argued a little bit in the beginning that what would happen by that. See, there is, and why you are choosing Bhagavatam alone? It is, there are so many scriptures, their recital, will that not work? And I have seen that it didn't work with them. It is, so what is this Bhagavatam going to do? And he told, these sages told, that Bhagavatam is the essence of all the Vedas and the other scriptures. That essence has been taken out, and that is it. Narada said, but basically it is the same thing. What is new in it? And the sages said, no, you know, when a thing is extracted, removed from all the other substances that they are combined with, it has developed other properties. Other properties get developed in it, like milk and yogurt. I have seen many people who cannot tolerate milk, but they are fine with yogurt. So milk and yogurt. Then there is, you use the clarified butter or ghee to light a lamp. You can't use milk to do that. It is so, although derived from milk, it has many different properties. The sages give many examples that although the source is similar, that doesn't mean the product will be the same. So here too, Bhagavatam is where the Lord resides. And so by Bhagavatam you will be able to do it. Narada agreed and asked, where should I do it? So they told him a place on the bank of the Ganges near Haridwar. You should do it. That's the best place for it. And come on, begin. And as Narada came to begin, the sages also followed him. Many other sages getting the news, they all came. Everybody got the news that Narada is going to have this Bhagavat Saptaha, week of Bhagavatam. And so, all of you please come. So everybody, it was a huge congregation, attended even by all the celestial beings. And it was, these days also you see such, where there is the Bhagavata week going on, huge congregation, lots of people come and be there, and for these 7 days with great joy this Bhagavatam was getting recited, and people, they have their devotional fervor coming up. The Bhagavatam is a book of that kind, that how the Lord comes in human form, and what is the nature of God in stories. all these truths are told very nicely, in a very penetrative way, because stories attract the attentions, like even our Unmesh sitting there, when you tell him a story, then his ears get, okay, story I like. So everybody, we talk about children, but the older people are no exception. How many go to read the books of big philosophy? Very few. But stories, they somehow they attract people's mind. So through these stories, these truths are presented, and very enchanting, absorbing stories. So people listen to the stories with great attention. What happened next? Okay, I am eager to know. You are not aware how much time passed away. My grandmother used to tell stories, very expert in telling stories. So we would stick to her and want always a story after our supper, and she would tell. There were not only myself, my siblings, other children, some children in the that locality. They would all assemble there, because my grandmother had a great expertise in telling stories. So she would tell the stories very nicely, and then we wouldn't know how 1 hour elapsed. Then what happened? Then how he did that? He did like that. Then what? Why? And I remember those stories even now, as she told. And then so the stories were very enthralling, and through the stories some truths would percolate in us, like she told a story about how one should be truthful to the up to the maximum limit. One should follow the truth. So she told the story of that king, that he saw in the dream, that he is giving. What is the name of that? Harish Chandra. Correct. Thank you. Harish Chandra. So she told the story of that, and we children. So the value of speaking the truth gets imparted. If somebody gives a plain philosophical lecture on the nature of truths, and in postmodern age, what is the significance? Then who goes to listen? Only that PhD people like Yona and all, they would listen, who otherwise have not. But with stories, your minds get absorbed. So people listen to this Bhagavatam with great attention. So that is how the truths get imparted. So this is the special feature of this Bhagavatam. It gets recited like this, and so what happened as the stories were getting to conclusion, and then Bhakti, that lady, she came there. She arrived there very joyously, singing the name of the Lord. She came there singing the name of the Lord, that Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murare Shri Nath Narayana Vasudeva. So, singing the glories of Hari, she came there, and wearing her dress was wonderful, and she had put on many ornaments. So all those ornaments and the dress, it was made from the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam. That is how all that dress was. Means the appearance was like that. The idea is that you see the clothes of the person. So now the clothes are made of various materials and various that colors, the way you stitch them, they have a particular purpose, So therefore for different purpose you put on different attire, like you have one particular attire for, say, going to a party, somebody's wedding, then you will put on some kind of a very nice special dress for it, that you won't use for swimming, it would be terrible to use that same dress for swimming. It would be a different dress when you go to sleep. So it is then when you want to do yard work, again you put on different attire. So now this attire is made of all devotion. All ornaments of devotion have been put on by bhakti, and with her were those two sons. They have become now very strong, alive, knowledge and dispassion. So they came there, entered the gathering. She said, I was almost dead in the age of Kali. By the listening of Bhagavatam, I am strong now. So are my sons' knowledge and dispassion. So please, O sages, tell me, where should I stay? And now tell me, where should I stay? And those four great sages, Sanak, etc., they told, well, you see, Bhakti, we are so happy now that you are full of energy, full of happiness, and your two sons also are very energetic now. So you are the one. They told that it is you are so important for this world. So you have to stay where? That as Bhakti started staying there, that, O Venerable Bhakti, the sages replied, you are the giver of divine realization. So Bhakti gives the divine realization. It is, Sri Ramakrishna used to say that Bhakti goes right deep into the apartment of God. The knowledge only stays in the outer parlor, It is, they don't go in. Like somebody has just come for business, the man who is from UPS has come to deliver a box. Then that person just gives the box, we say hi, have a nice day, and that's all, that fellow goes. But then some of you, your very close friend has come, then that friend goes right with you inside the house, moves everywhere, goes in all the inner apartment, here, there. There is no hindrance for that person. So the bhakti is this love goes very deep. Reason stops, like that delivery guy just stays there. Reason doesn't go much deep, but love goes very, very deep. So therefore they said that you are the giver of divine realization. one-pointed love, and you are expert in uprooting the bondage of transmigration. You are expert in that. All the bondage of transmigration will be uprooted by you. So we suggest, please stay in the hearts of the devotees, that their hearts, those who aspire for this uprooting the bondage of transmigration. The Sanskrit word is samsara. That it is samsara. It is full of misery. It is a tree. Many times it is depicted as tree, full of all these bitter fruits and all poisonous things around, poison ivies. So that is this world. It cannot be made good world. The scriptures are very clear about it. Many think that let us make the world good. There was a very important philanthropist, very kind-hearted man that Sri Ramakrishna went to meet. His name was Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. In Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna you can read a full section on Sri Ramakrishna's meeting Vidyasagar. And Vidyasagar was very well known person, and but his idea was not realizing God. He said, well, what is the need of God? Let us make this world nice, so this world will become like heaven, and that's it, So Sri Ramakrishna tried to tell him the contradictions involved in the world. The constitution of the world is contradictions. There is always contradiction. Somebody is celebrating the birth of a child, at the same time somebody is mourning the death of somebody. It is what can be done. It is like that. There is tear in one eye, smile in another eye. That is the nature of this world. It cannot basically be made good world. Here every single happiness is matched by much more suffering. This is how it is. There is everything is fraught with so many problems. It is like we say, well, the longevity has increased. We say, oh, improvement in this world. But then, therefore, the old age problems also that became more and more. Somebody was telling these days these problems like Alzheimer's and all have become so much. In the earlier days there was no Alzheimer's. Well, there was, but people did not live that long to get Alzheimer's. They would die before that. So therefore there are the problems also when you have the longevity appears to be very good. It is, but then there are the associated problems with it. It is the problem of say social security and retirement. Now how, I don't want to get into all that, but what I mean is that every single so-called good thing has an evil counterpart to it. This world, its constitution is like that. Many who feel very hurt. One lady used to listen to the Jnana Yoga lectures online, and then she, a very devout Christian person, so she said, what Swami, whatever you are saying appears to make sense, no doubt, very reasonable. But because it says that this world cannot basically have peace. Hmm. This. So is it? Do you want peace? Yes. Now this world cannot basically have peace. And the reason is, then you see, all there will be so many problems. If you think that there would be peace in this world, means no wars. No wars. What about then having military? No military, no police. So many jobs will get lost, you see. What will you do? There will be hardly any job left for lawyers, isn't it? It is because, no, it is all peace, you see. So, it is. So, what can you do? It is all the factories that of the war materials, weapons and all that will not be there. There will be no statesman, no society basically. And all those inventions which actually were because of the war, now we use it, like this glass that is now used for all the building construction. This is not the old time 100 years ago what glass you used to get, which you hurl a stone and will break. This, even if you hit big hammer, it is as strong as wall, So it is, this was an invention of war. GPS that you all use, Do you use Ujjwal GPS? So GPS. It is the war that made it, the discovery of it. So it is all, if you have no war, all these inventions also will stop coming up. So it is, all these contradictions are there. And history is witness to that. If you look at the human history, there wasn't any period in human history that there were no wars. See, in fact, the history, if you take a history book, it basically describes the wars. When I had that in the history course, this treaty, this war, who lost, why did they lose, what are the reasons that brought up the First World War, the reasons for the Second World War. All history books means the stories basically of war. So I don't see, even on the practical level, that possibility of a peaceful world. The world means strife. But one important thing to be noted, Unmesh, note it. This world is temporary. It is not real. It goes away. It comes and goes. God alone is real. That is why, if we want peace, this tree of the samsara, this has to be uprooted. And who can do that? Bhakti does that. And therefore, you be in the hearts of devotees. And thus you will not even get bothered by the evils of Kali, because these devotees, the Kali Yuga will not touch them. So, thus Bhakti started staying in the hearts of devotees. So, are you devotees? Are we devotees? What? Why is everybody quiet? Are we devotees? What, Girish, you are not? Trying to be. Okay, yeah. Means we are devotees, but not always of a very exalted state devotees. We are building up devotion, so to say. As we build up this devotion in us, we become better devotees, and bhakti stays with us. And with bhakti, what happens? As bhakti started staying there, Lord also got pulled there by her force, the force of love. Actually, that is what the rule of love. Rule of love in physics becomes law of gravitation, attraction, So it is the law of love. Love pulls together. So it is, that is how now bhakti pulled the Lord in the hearts of all devotees. The sages said, even the human beings who are evil, full of violence, and are always guided by the attractions of the sense pleasures, and thus suffer, those who have spent life in robbery, murders, and all terrible crimes, also get purified by listening of Bhagavatam week. Such is its glory. There is other story that goes with it. I think we will skip that story and turn to the main Bhagavatam in our next class. So it is let us recite this concluding verse, and then if you have questions, feel free to ask, and then we will recite all together. We will sing the glory of the Lord. Nigam kalpatarur galitam phalam. Can you read? Nigam kalpatarur galitam phalam शुकमुखादमृतद्रव संयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुर्हो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. O devotees, quaff, quaff to intoxication this nectar of the fruit of the tree of Vedas, flowing from the mouth of the great sage Shuka and mixed with the ambrosia of his words. So this is it. So we shall conclude today's class with, if you have any question, you can present it. Any question? Very good. So now we shall chant the Hari, the name of the Lord, and that will be the end of the today's class. मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल से मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल 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 कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल कृष्ण कृष्ण बोल मुकुंद माधव गोविंद बोल केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल, केशव माधव हरि हरि बोल. On Sunday, there is the day-long function of Swami Vivekananda's birthday celebration. So, please try to come.